Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to attend the funeral of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Begum Khaleda Zia, in Dhaka to convey India's condolences on her demise. United States announces fresh sanctions related to Iran and Venezuela over their drone and missile trade. Thailand releases 18 Cambodian soldiers captured in July after a fresh truce held for more than 3 days following weeks of deadly border clashes. And world set to ring in the new year, people excited to welcome the year 2026 with enthusiasm, celebrations and fireworks. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will attend the funeral of Bangladesh's first woman Prime Minister, Khaleda Zia, in Dhaka on Wednesday to convey India's condolences on her demise. Khaleda Zia's funeral prayers will be held at 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time today at the South Plaza of the Jatiya Sansad Bhavan and Manik Mia Avenue in the capital. She'll be laid to rest beside her late husband, former President Ziaur Rahman. Following her death, the Bangladesh government has declared 3 days of state mourning, with today being observed as a public holiday. The interim government said that the entire funeral process, from transferring her body from Evercare Hospital to the burial site, will be carried out with full state honours. Global leaders expressed condolences following the death of Khaleda Zia, recalling her significant legacy in Bangladesh's political journey. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was deeply saddened about learning about the passing of Khaleda. Suffering from a raft of health issues, Khaleda Zia was rushed to hospital in late November, where her condition had gradually deteriorated despite treatment. Tariq Rahman, son of Khaleda Zia, who returned only last week after 17 years in exile, said in a statement, and I quote Tariq here, "The country mourns the loss of a guiding presence that shaped its democratic aspirations. My mother endured repeated arrests, denial of medical care and relentless persecution, but never stopped sheltering her family with courage and compassion. Her resilience was unbreakable." Unquote. Begum Khaleda Zia was a towering figure in Bangladesh's politics. She led the Bangladesh Nationalist Party for decades and was the principal rival to Sheikh Hasina of the Awami League Party. Her remarkable political journey from widowhood to the nation's highest office shaped modern Bangladesh. The next report traces her life and legacy.
Khaleda Zia, Bangladesh's first woman prime minister and three-time leader, has died in Dhaka at the age of 80. Her death marks the end of a political era. For decades, she and her arch-rival Sheikh Hasina dominated the nation's politics. Supporters call her the mother of democracy for restoring parliamentary rule after years of military control. She was largely unfamiliar with the political world until she was seemingly dragged into it following the assassination of her husband, President Ziaur Rahman, a military strongman turned politician, in an abortive army coup in 1981. A year later, she joined the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, founded by her late husband, and became its chairperson within 2 years. After the 1982 military coup by the then army chief, General H.M. Irshad, Zia initiated a movement for restoring democracy. In 1986, she boycotted a rigged presidential election, a move that helped boost her popularity. After the fall of the Irshad regime in December 1990, elections were held in Feb 1991, which the BNP won. Khaleda Zia became Bangladesh's first female prime minister and the second in the Muslim world after Pakistan's Benazir Bhutto. Her political life saw several ups and downs. The BNP briefly returned to power in 1996 and again in 2001. In 2006, Zia stepped down from office, handing over power to a caretaker administration. In September 2007, she was arrested on what her party claimed were baseless charges of corruption. In 2018, she was sentenced to 5 years in jail in a Zia Orphanage Trust case and later received a 7-year sentence in the Zia Charitable Trust case. In 2024, a day after Sheikh Hasina was ousted from power, Zia was granted a presidential pardon and released. The following day, she returned to politics with a massive rally, breathing new life into the BNP despite her ailing health. Her son, Tariq Rahman, who's currently BNP's acting chairman, recently returned home after living in London in self-exile since 2008. Zia was born on 15th August 1946 to Tayyaba and Iskandar Muzumdar in Dinajpur district in undivided India. Her father migrated from Jalpaiguri, where the family ran a tea business, to what was East Pakistan after the partition.
Updates next on the Thailand-Cambodia crisis. Thailand on Wednesday released 18 Cambodian soldiers captured in July after a fresh ceasefire between the neighbours held for more than 3 days following weeks of deadly border clashes. Both Thai and Cambodia government confirmed the release of captured soldiers early Wednesday morning. The Southeast Asian neighbours agreed a truce on Saturday, ending renewed fighting at their border that killed dozens of people and displaced more than 1 million this month. Under the truce, Cambodia and Thailand pledged to the ceasefire, freezing troop movements and cooperate on demining efforts along their disputed frontier. The Trump administration on Tuesday announced sanctions against Iran and Venezuela, targeting companies that have been involved in the production and sale of drones. The U.S. Treasury Department took aim at 10 individuals and entities based in Venezuela and Iran over issues including purchases of Iranian-designed drones. The administration is also sanctioning 3 Iran-based individuals in connection with efforts to acquire chemicals for ballistic missiles, as well as 2 companies and 3 people in Iran with connections to Iran's UAV and aerospace program. Among those impacted are Venezuelan company Empresa Aeronautica Nacional S.A. and its chair Jose Jesus Ordaneta Gonzalez, which it said have acquired Iranian-designed UAVs. The new sanctions come as President Trump has ramped up pressure on Venezuela by imposing sanctions on embattled President Nicolas Maduro and ordering military strikes on a facility he said was used as a dock for alleged drug boats. U.S. officials said that the sanctions are intended to disrupt Iran-Venezuela cooperation that supports Tehran's military-industrial complex. Trump on Monday also warned to strike Iran if leaders pursue a nuclear weapon. Colombian President Gustavo Petro on Tuesday said that the United States bombed a suspected drug factory in Venezuela's port city of Maracaibo. In the social media post, the Colombian president suggested that the facility was operated by the ELN guerrilla group, which partially controls the cocaine-producing Catatumbo region on the border of Venezuela. Petro's comments came a day after Trump confirmed the United States struck a docking area for alleged drug boats in Venezuela. Earlier, Trump on Monday said the U.S. strikes happened in the dock area where they load the boats with drugs. Venezuela's government has not made any official comments so far on the land strike. The Trump administration has been ramping up pressure on Nicolas Maduro, accusing him of running a drug cartel and imposing an oil tanker blockade. Washington has also carried out over 30 strikes on boats alleged to be carrying drugs in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific Ocean, killing over 100 people so far. On to Asia now. China fired rockets into waters of Taiwan on Tuesday, showcasing new assault ships and dismissed prospects of a US and allied intervention to block any future attack by Beijing to take control of the island in its most extensive war games to date. As part of the drills rehearsing a blockade, China's Eastern Theater Command conducted 10 hours of live-fire exercises, launching rockets into waters to the north and south of the democratically governed island. Chinese naval and air force units also simulated strikes on maritime and aerial targets and carried out anti-submarine drills around the island. Named Justice Mission 2025, the drills began 11 days after the US announced a record $11.1 billion arms package to Taiwan, drawing the Chinese Defense Ministry's ire and warnings that the military would take forceful measures in response. The United Arab Emirates pulling its remaining forces out of Yemen after Saudi Arabia backed a call for the UAE forces to leave within 24 hours deepens a crisis between the two Gulf powers and oil producers. Hours earlier, Saudi-led coalition forces had attacked the southern Yemeni port of Mukalla. The airstrike on what Riyadh said was a UAE-linked weapons shipment was the most significant escalation to date in a widening rift between the two Gulf monarchies. In Washington, the U.S. State Department said that Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with the Saudi and UAE foreign ministers about tensions in Yemen and other issues affecting security in the Middle East. The year 2025 unfolded as a powerful mosaic of devotion, diplomacy, development and deep human connection. From Operation Sindoor to heartfelt moments with people to historic acts of civilizational pride like the Dhwajarohan Utsav in Ayodhya, and the year reflected India's soul in motion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's journey spanned sacred temples, border regions, major infrastructure milestones and people-centric programs. Take a look. India's military is undergoing a fundamental shift from a major global importer to a net security provider, a transformation built on three core pillars of integration, innovation and self-reliance. The year showcased the might of the Indian armed forces, not just for defense, but for regional stability and technological leadership. A good example of which was Operation Sindoor, which was launched in response to the 22nd April terror attack at Pahalgam. The operation was a display of calibrated, non-escalatory force, a precise and strategic attack, avoiding conventional escalation while delivering a clear message. DD India's Vishal Baristo has more.
India is rapidly embracing tri-service integration, creating a unified, agile fighting machine. This jointness is led by the Chief of Defence Staff, whose primary mandate is to achieve synergy across all domains: land, air and sea. The ongoing formation of integrated theatre commands is consolidating assets from all three services under a single commander for any given war zone. This ensures a faster, more effective response. The success of tri-service integration was quite evident during the clinical strikes on the terror camps in Pakistan during Operation Sindoor.
हमारी सेना ने वो करके दिखाया जो कई दशकों तक कभी हुआ नहीं था। सैकड़ों किलोमीटर दुश्मन की धरती पर घुस करके आतंकी इमारतों को खंडहर बना दिया। पाकिस्तान में हुई तबाही इतनी बड़ी है कि रोज नए-नए खुलासे हो रहे हैं।
Operation Sindoor was launched in response to cross-border terror attacks from Pakistan. It was a display of calibrated, non-escalatory force. A precise and strategic attack, avoiding conventional escalation while delivering a clear message. India had a clear technology edge. What stood out was the minimal use of external assets. The operation was a milestone in India's journey towards self-reliance, relying heavily on indigenous high-tech systems like long-range drones, guided munitions and electronic warfare assets. Reports indicate that this precision-led campaign successfully dismantled terror infrastructure and neutralized key air defense systems, all completed without the loss of a single Indian asset. It was a victory of technological self-reliance in modern air warfare.
Because of our strikes, there have been radars at least 4 places, command and control centers at 2 places, runway, of course, damaged at 2 places. Then 3 of their hangars in 3 different stations have been damaged. And in that hangar, as well as on tarmac, we have signs of one C-130 class of aircraft, one AEWC class of aircraft, and at least 4 to 5 fighter aircraft, most likely F-16, because that base happened to be F-16.
Mega exercises like Trishul and the increasing adoption of Tri-Services Education Corps are standardizing doctrine and training, cementing an integrated defense shield. India's Navy is integrating advanced interceptor missiles like the AD-1 and AD-2 onto frontline warships, giving us a layered ballistic missile defense. BMD shield, covering land, air and now the sea. This is the definition of multi-domain jointness. During Operation Sindoor, the aggressive posturing by the Indian Navy pushed back Pakistan.
Immediate actions which we took, including the deployment of carrier battle group in the northern Arabian Sea, forced the Pakistan Navy to remain either in their ports or airports or close to Makran coast, and they never ventured out.
The push for Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, has transformed the defense industrial base into an engine of growth and global supply. Indigenous defense production hit a record over $18 billion in the last fiscal. India grows from just an importer to exporter. Defence exports surged to a record rupees 23,622 crores, approximately $2.76 billion. India now exports defence equipments and weapons to over 100 countries. Export portfolio include Tejas and Akash. India targets 50,000 crores in defence exports by 2029. India's defence might is not just measured by the number of soldiers or planes, but by the integrated spirit of our forces, the precision of our strategy, and the confidence born from domestic innovation. From the mountains to the seas, our forces are unified, future-ready, and a guarantor of peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific.
Year 2025 comes to an end, but the journey is not yet over. As the Prime Minister says, Operation Sindoor continues. And so, enemy beware, because Indian armed forces are always ready to meet any eventuality. With cameraman Rajesh Ricky in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
2025 has been remarkable for the spiritual grandeur of the Mahakumbh, the cultural bridge of Kashi Tamil Sangamam, and the festival of Deepavali, earning global recognition on UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list. Well, these are the moments that have left India with memories to cherish.
India, the cradle of one of the world's oldest civilizations, is renowned for its diverse culture, heritage and warm hospitality. The country embodies the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the belief that the world is one family. 2025 has been a phenomenal chapter in India's rich cultural journey. From Mahakumbh, the grand confluence of culture and devotion, to Kashi Tamil Sangamam, to Deepavali being inscribed into UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The year has gifted us timeless memories to cherish. Mahakumbh 2025, the confluence of culture, emotion and devotion, commenced on 13th of January on the auspicious day of Paush Purnima with unmatched grandeur. During the 45-day-long spiritual congregation, millions of devotees took a holy dip at the sacred Sangam. Saints, Shankaracharyas and people from every section of society participated in this great Sanatan festival. President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, several union ministers and many dignitaries from India and abroad witnessed this historic event. Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0, held in Varanasi, celebrated the deep cultural and civilizational ties between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. The event featured vibrant performances by over 869 artists and 190 local folk and classical groups, drawing an enthusiastic audience of nearly 200,000 spectators. A compilation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's thoughts and speeches on culture, titled Sanskriti Ka Panchwa Adhyay, has now been presented to readers in book form. The book was formally released by the head Akhara, Acharya Mahamadleshwar, Pujya Swami Avdeshanand Giri Maharaj. Sanskriti Ka Panchwa Adhyay is a collection of speeches delivered by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on various occasions. It highlights Indian culture, traditions, spiritual values, and the country's rich cultural heritage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched a year-long national celebration to mark the 150th anniversary of the national song Vande Mataram. The celebrations will be held starting from 7th of November 2025 to 7th of November 2026, commemorating 150 years of this timeless composition. Written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in a blend of Sanskrit and Bangla, Vande Mataram appears in his novel Anand Mat. The song remained a powerful source of inspiration throughout India's freedom struggle for decades. Beyond inspiring millions of freedom fighters, Vande Mataram stands as a profound expression of devotion to Mother India and a lasting symbol of country's unity.
Vande! Vande! Vande!
On 21st of June, the 11th International Day of Yoga was celebrated across the country and around the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the main event held in Visakhapatnam. The Ministry of Culture organized yoga sessions at 100 prominent tourist destinations and more than 50 cultural sites across India. The International Day of Yoga was also observed at the Indian embassies and missions worldwide. Speaking on this year's theme, Yoga for One Earth, One Health, the Prime Minister said that yoga awakens us to a deeper connection with nature and guides the world toward unity. In New Delhi, the 20th session of the UNESCO Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage was held from 8th to 12th of December. A special highlight of this year's session was the inscription of the festival of Deepavali on UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This infusion recognizes Deepavali's global cultural significance. The Festival of Lights, celebrated with light, joy and hope, symbolizes new energy and optimism, and its listing reflects global recognition and respect for India's vibrant living traditions and festive spirit. Achievements like these further strengthen India's position as a global cultural leader and enhance its cultural diplomacy on the world stage. As we bid goodbye to year 2025, India's cultural legacy continues to strengthen, connecting people from diverse backgrounds and creating a spirit of togetherness, peace and harmony.
As we are just a few hours away now to welcome the new year 2026, here's the entire DD India team wishing you a new year filled with small wonders and big happiness. That's it in this broadcast. News and updates continue on our channel DD India. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.